What's going on, YouTube? It's James with Shyhammer Fantasy Battle Reports. Got another battle report for you today. It's the ETC Passero 2022 round number 1. Guys, I'm going to just start this off with a video from the Paired Weapon podcast.
In Serbia last year, so they're the heavyweights. Number 16. 16 is Mexico. There you go. Captained by Shyhammer, who should be well known to people following podcasts. Absolutely. 18th place in Spain, 13th in Croatia, 16th in Serbia 2019, so they'll be looking at top half finishes. And they have the 5th place scorer playing for them in Thibaut Ankar last it's 2019.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree bloody good blokes as well.
Yeah, seeing what King Cooper can do. Oh yeah, of course. Yes, absolutely. We've got a little technical malfunction again. But here we go with the next one, which is number 24. 24 is Slovenia. Captained by Rock Martin. They started out in 34th place in Croatia 2018, went up to 33rd place in Serbia 2019.
Alright, if you guys just watched that was Matt and Kev from the Paired Weapon podcast. So if you guys watch closely, Matt's the one that was rolling the balls, and he basically drops a ball in between calling Mexico and Slovenia. That ball, I kind of questioned myself. That ball could have been anything. That ball could have been France. It could have been Denmark. It could have been Italy. There was quite a few. I actually think Denmark was out there already, but there was quite a few lists that were, teams that were pulled right around us that were very deadly teams that could have just been the roughest, tough round one match, and we just totally avoided it. My brother calls me immediately after this video aired, and he's like, "We got Slovenia!" Me and him were just like, we got Slovenia. Nothing against Slovenia. Slovenia was a fun opponent to play round one, but they do have a record that is not favorable to them. So my brother and I, we did spend, we were talking about it first of all, and talking about this, getting those odds. We call that Silva luck, okay? Silvas, we tend to have random bursts of luck, stupid stuff like going to a crowded mall. I know that most people don't go to malls anymore, but going to a crowded mall on Christmas Day and finding a parking spot right in the front of the doors or something like that. That's Silva luck. All right. So my brother calls me and he goes, "You know why we got Slovenia? Because we had double Silva luck. There's 2 Silvas there and just amplified our chances of luck." And if those of you guys who don't really trust us on this, just watch our dice rolls. We always roll hot, kind of a deal. Sometimes a little too hot, like you fail 3 stupidity checks, but you keep rolling 6s. So I'm just saying, it just happens. It's Silva luck. Okay, it goes both ways, though. All right, so anyways, guys, going into this, we have a month to prepare. We have a month to prepare for Slovenia, and I'm going to go over the Slovenian list. I'm going to go over our list. I'm going to go over my team, and I'm going to go over basically the little bit of prep time. This is going to be a longer video. I actually am recording this for the second time because the first one was extremely long by the time the battle report started, so I just wanted to give you guys a heads up and kind of trim it down a bit. All right, so first off, the Slovenian list, they have Warriors of the Dark Gods, they have Saurian Ancients, they have Vampire Coven, Empire, Orcs and Goblins, then they have the Dwarf list, which was crazy, Infernal Dwarves, and then there's one that, Highborn Elves. Alright, so what ended up happening was for this month during the prep time, we got the matrix down, and I'm like yelling at people, do your matrix, do your matrix, do your matrix. Now, Gonzalo was a late addition to our team. Gonzalo was legit like a last minute, like we need somebody, and we lost, we lost Titty. Titty got, his team got voted for Team France, and or they won their way through it to get there. So Titty was really excited, but he's going to be a coach. So then all of a sudden, I'm like, well, I'm down a player. We got Gonzalo. So Gonzalo, for some reason, never gave us his matrix. Never gave us his matrix. But he was also like the last person on the team, and we ended up having to get him to give us a matrix in paper the day of each time we played. Like, what's your matrix, Gonzalo? Give me the paper. Give me the paper, Gonzalo. But in Gonzalo's defense, the guy did just win ESC, so he's a solid player. He's a solid player. Look at that medal. I'm gonna just show you the medal. I just had him send this to me. Anyways, so during this time, we're looking at the list and we're looking at which matches are red and which ones are greens and which ones are whatever, right? And we literally dissected it, and I literally looked at it 100 times. But literally, when I was biking to get Amanda's engagement ring, I'm on the phone with my brother the whole time talking about, all right, if we throw this person, who do they throw? And if they throw this person, who do we throw? And I went over every scenario probably 100 times, okay? Knowing the strengths and weaknesses of my team, one of the strengths is I allow my players to pick whatever the hell they want for their army list, as long as they're really good with that army list. And I don't really care. Obviously, I have some studs on my team. I keep telling them that. I'm like, these guys are some studs on my team, you know? So I understand that a couple of them have been through quite a few ETCs with me already and understand how to put a matrix together and understand their strengths and weaknesses. A couple of my players, not so much, and that's the thing I need to figure out. I need to figure out who doesn't understand what the matrix is, or overestimates their abilities, right? And I'm one of those people. You know, I have my mentality from 2019 James, who was a much stronger player and looked at the list and thought totally different than of the list right now. So, going over that, the Slovenian list, there was a couple problem lists that we saw. Problem meaning that they're going to be hard lists. Number one was the Warriors of the Dark Gods. There was mostly yellow matches on my team. The other one was the Vampire Coven, and I think it's just because I started the trend of like, I don't want to fuck with vampires, and all of a sudden other people are like, I don't. My brother's like, I don't want to fuck with vampires, and all of a sudden somebody's like, hey, why are those two reds? Oh, that must be a tough vampire list. I don't want to fuck with vampires. So all of a sudden it's just a sea of red on vampires and dwarves, and I'm like, oh god damn it. And then all of a sudden Jorge's over there with his like small win on there, and I'm like, So I reach out to Jorge and I'm like, Jorge, man, what's up with that? Like, do you think this guy has like vampire knights? Can you handle the vampire knights? And Jorge tells me straight up, with occultism he can. Now, we did have a conversation about bringing pyro versus occultism, and I told Jorge, just bring whatever you want, man. Bring whatever you feel more comfortable with, because I could tell you to change your list, but what ends up happening is if you lose, you're going to have resentment towards me for changing your list. And I'm not going to have that. I want you to play comfortable, play to your strengths, and do what you do best, okay? And I want you to play your best version of Jorge here, okay? So we were looking at it. Now the dwarf list was the biggest problem, okay? And for those of you guys who don't know this, the dwarf list, I'll show you the list. As we're looking it over, one of my friends goes, that's the Pete Reese list. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, that's Pete Reese. So Pete Reese is our friend from Texas. And he made this list. And this list is legit a freaking game-breaking list. This list is so goddamn hard. Everybody on our team basically put it as a red match. There was a couple yellows. So as soon as I found this out, I contact Pete. I go, hey, Pete, man. I go, your list is showing up on Slovenia. And he goes, of course, I knew. I put it up online, and all of a sudden, everybody's playing it. And I'm like, yep. I go, well, here's the deal. These are my 8 players. Who would you not want to fight and why? And he told me straight up, your demon player, Lucas. And I'm like, is that it? And he goes, yeah, that's about it. And he explained the reasons why. So knowing that, I know that there's a very slim chance of getting Lucas on that dwarf player, okay? So during this time, this whole month, what ended up happening is we had our friend Joel Flint and Fergus basically run games against us. Fergus came out with his Highborn Elves and played the Slovenian list against me. I actually did a whole battle report, quote unquote, on that, but I never posted it. I never did the video, posted the video, because just in case I happened to play that player, I didn't want him to see it, or you know what I mean. So I just kind of kept it to myself, but I still played the game. And the list, the Highborn Elf list, is something favorable for me. The Joel ended up playing every list that we that was up there. He learned every army by playing this too, by the way. But Joel is a good player, and he played the Warriors against us. He played the and just to give you guys a quick overview, I lost a couple times against the Warriors. I won. Sorry, he won more times than I won when he played the Warriors. The Saurian Ancients, it really depended on what the Alpha Carnosaur could do against me. I actually did not even bother playing against the Infernal Dwarf or the Vampire Coven because I was telling myself, I am not going to pair myself up against those. I am not going to pair myself up against those. I don't want to worry about it. Let's just focus on the ones I'm probably going to be paired up against. I didn't bother uh, practice against Orc and Goblins because obviously I know what Orcs and Goblins do. And, so I was just like, okay, so we prepped a lot. My brother prepped a lot. And when it came down to it, we started going over who was the first drop. Now, with an incomplete matrix, I looked at it and I said, it's my brother. It's 100% my brother. And I started getting Charlie concerned. No, 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 don't throw your brother. Don't throw your brother. If you throw your brother, there's possible he gets a bad match. And I go, that's fine if he soaks up the vampire or the dwarf. All right, but there's other matches on there that I think Jesse will actually do a good on. So I'm gonna go ahead. I think that's the key. And they're like, throw Gonzalo, throw Gonzalo. Gonzalo doesn't have a bad match on here, and I was like, no, because I still want to soak up that dwarf player. If that dwarf player is a red match for any of us, that's a bad thing, you know. So we were going over that for a while, leading up to the tournament itself. We I'm down a massive player in Titty. T-Bolt Anchor. He was he was fifth in the world in 2019. He had great coaching with Lucas, and he had me pushing him to the moon, getting him whatever match he needed for a 20-0. I think he had one that was like a 10-10, and that basically dropped him from first place to fifth place, and basically that was about it. But he's coach for France right now, and I'm like, well, we lost that. How do we replace that? I started thinking like Moneyball strategies instead of like trying to get one big hitter. Try to get a lot of medium hitters and basically work with that, you know. But in that same mindset, I had a conversation with Andrew Ratman, and I was like, it has to be Neil. It has to be Neil. Neil is probably going to be my most consistent guy here with a list that could kill somebody, but he has to get the list that he's going to kill. So I'm like, I got to get Neil those matches. All right. So that's about that right there. Let's go over, before we get to actually getting to Slovenia day one, let's go over continuing the bike saga. Continuing the bike saga. Okay, guys? So if you guys are following on my videos from ESC, we had a hard time getting taxis. We ended up renting bicycles. We ended up spending about 2 hours getting back to our Airbnb in the mountains at like 1 in the morning, taking a shower, going to sleep by 2 in the morning, and we have to leave. I told Amanda we have to leave. It's going to take us about 2 hours to get down this fucking mountain and into the city to where we're going to have the event. So we're going to have to wake up at like 5:45 in the morning, which means we're only getting like 3.5 hours of sleep. That's fucking brutal. And the crazy thing is, Hermanard was up the whole night. I don't even think Hermanard fell asleep, to be fair, okay? So I wake up in a house full of Norsemen, and they're buck-ass naked, okay? Hermanard, you know the truth, all right? Buck-ass naked, and I'm over here like, they look like they're all asleep. Me and Amanda are trying to sneak out of the Airbnb, and Hermanard's eye is open. Just one eye is open, staring at me. And he's like, you go in already? And I was like, yeah, I'll meet you there. And he's like, okay. He's like, we just got in from clubbing. I'm like, what? That's crazy, man. They didn't fucking sleep the whole night. And then now, not only that, but me and Amanda are literally starting to bike through the freaking mountains, okay? Now, for the record, for those of you, I don't know where you're from, most of you who are watching, in Chicago, we have what's called Six Flags Great America. It's our roller coaster amusement park, right? So whenever you go up a roller coaster, you get to that top of that roller coaster, it's like, and you start staring straight down. That's how it was leaving the Airbnb and getting to the top of the hill before you freaking fly down the mountain. I did not realize how steep of a mountain we climbed the night before. I did not realize until I went down. And it would be great. It would be all fucking fun and games if it was a straight line. But it's not a straight line. It's an Italian road that goes this way and that way. You have to zig and zag. Basically, we're holding the brakes. Now, first of all, Amanda goes and she's going maybe like 30 miles an hour, okay? I weigh about double what Amanda weighs. I'm flying past her. I'm like, holy shit! And literally, I can feel the bug smacking my face. I could feel that, like, my eyes tearing up and it's like going sideways, like. It looks like when the raindrops are hitting the windshield and just kind of going sideways on the expressway. It felt that fast. And not only that, every turn you make, you feel like a car might be turning that corner and you might hit the car. So you have to like kind of ride the ridge, but you're just like, it was going so goddamn fast. I get to the bottom of the mountain and I'm like, holy shit! And Amanda's looking at me like, that was fucking crazy. I was like, I know that was fucking crazy. And then she was still feeling ill from the day before, from having the hangover, food poisoning feeling. And she's just like, this sucks. I'm like, holy fuck, that was intense. That the level of intensity, that was just crazy. We end up biking. It wasn't a full 2.5 hours biking down. It was maybe closer to an hour and a half, maybe two. But we get to the event. We do get there just enough time. And again, I told her we have to probably get there early due to the fact that since I'm a captain, there might be captain's meetings, there might be whatever, and it's just better to kind of get there, get settled, and just get ready for this event. All right, so this event right now, we're playing Slovenia. We are excited to play Slovenia, and you could go ahead and see some of the lists. I'll post a couple of them up if I haven't already. But we're gonna go ahead and let me see if I got any pictures down here. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So, let me open this up here. Sorry. Open with photos. All right. So, we get to the event. Even the night before the event, Charlie comes up to me. We gotta drop Gonzalo. I'm like, we're not dropping Gonzalo. I'm trusting my gut. I've actually had fights with Charlie from the years previously about trusting Charlie and trusting myself, and I make mistakes, he makes mistakes, whatever. But I do trust myself. I do trust this is the way. This is the way. This is my secret weapon. I've been planning this for over a month, and there's a reason why. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop Jesse. Boom! I dropped Jesse, right? Now, they dropped Warriors of the Dark Gods. Now, that was one of the options that I thought. If they dropped Dwarves and Warriors of the Dark Gods, right? So they dropped Warriors of the Dark Gods, right? And Charlie's kind of like my right-hand man right now doing the Matrix. He has plenty of practice on this, and he also, me and him kind of have different perspectives, and it's kind of like a meeting of the minds, more or less. So we go ahead and we drop Jesse. Now, when they come back with Jesse, they give us the worst possible combination, which was Dwarven Holds and Highborn Elves, but that's what I expected. All right. Now, Jesse does have a chance. He does have a chance against Highborn Elves, but it's not that great because the guy has 2 bricks of Sword Masters. Jesse doesn't really have a way to. He could chaff them for a bit. He could flame cannon them, but there's just that possibility that the Highborn Elf list has major problems with other lists that we have in our army, mainly Euron and me. Euron, the night before, was like, please give me the Highborn Elf, please, please. And I was like, I'll try, man, but that is a huge win for either me or Euron. And Euron's like, I swear to God, if you give me the Highborn Elf list, I'll wet my pants. And he wasn't talking about piss, okay? He's like, I will have to go to the bathroom and change. so, so I see it, and we kind of have this small discussion, and they were like, see, you're giving Jesse the Dwarf Hold. You're giving Jesse the Dwarven Holds. And I'm like, that Dwarven Hold is a red match on every single player of our team except for, like, 2. I'm like, if we give it to Jesse, do you promise not to get 0? And he's like, I'm going to do my best not to get 0. I said, all right, let's just give it to Jesse and take it off the table. So we did exactly that. That was exactly my plan from the get-go, okay? The Warriors of the Dark Gods, we ended up giving them Dread Elves, and I think we ended up giving him Infernal Dwarves. If not Infernal Dwarves, we ended up giving him Gonzalo, Saurian Ancients. They gave us, they actually chose Dread Elves versus Warriors of the Dark Gods, which is great. This is exactly who Neil would want to fight. Our next drop was our Infernal Dwarf army. They ended up giving us Vampire Counts, and let me see if I can open up the Matrix and see what else their options were. But they ended up, it was Vampire Counts, and I want to say it was Saurians. And I look at Jorge, and I was like, Jorge, we had this conversation on the train ride from Roma Termini to Pesaro. We had this conversation about how he could shoot off these vampire knights, and I said, Jorge, I want to give you the vampire counts. You told me you were going to shoot off the knights, but I'm giving you the choice. Who do you want? And he goes, let me get those vampire counts. I was like, all right, cool. So they ended up throwing out Orcs and Goblins. We ended up giving them Orco and somebody else. They ended up choosing Orco. All right. The last four, this is where it gets really muddled. Okay, this is where it gets really muddled. We throw down our Saurian Ancients, which is Gonzalo. Okay, Gonzalo was a very simple choice to throw down. He doesn't really have a bad match. Okay, now they throw out, I want to say they throw out Saurian Ancients. Okay, so since they throw out Saurian Ancients, right away Charlie tells me we have to hold Euron in the hand. And the reason why we would hold Euron in the hand is because we could choose who fights the Infernal Dwarf. Okay? Charlie and myself actually have a bad match against Infernal Dwarves. Euron has a yellow match against Infernal Dwarves. So if we could limit that, Charlie and I could kill the Highborn Elves and we could kill the Saurian Ancients. Either way, right? So he tells me, hold Euron in the hand. I said, okay, great. I'm going to hold Euron in the hand. As soon as they throw out the card, as soon as we flip over the Saurian Ancient, right? Charlie's like, oh, no. And he confused the shit out of me by saying we cannot have both Charlie and I in the same hand. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, you can't have Charlie and I in the same hand. And I go, all right, so you mean you want yourself, Charlie, and Euron? And he's like, yes. And I was like, okay. So I throw them down, and he goes, wait, who do you have in your hand? After I threw him down, and I go, I have me in the hand. He goes, no, you're supposed to have Euron in the hand. Everybody heard me say you're supposed to have Euron in the hand. I was like, yes, but you also told me we're not supposed to be in the same hand. So I threw those down. I'm like, God damn it, Charlie, you confused the shit out of me. And Charlie's like, and this is kind of the things we go through here. We're like a married couple here. All right. So anyways, Saurian Ancients, Gonzalo ended up getting the Empire's Hostile. And then when they came back with the cards, it was Infernal Dwarves and Saurian Ancients. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Infernal Dwarves and Saurian Ancients. So basically, I was like, Charlie, let's. I think, did they choose? I think they chose. That's how it goes. So Charlie ended up getting Saurian Ancients. I ended up getting Infernal Dwarves. And then Euron gets Hybrid Elves. As soon as that was the last card flipped, you hear Euron go, oh, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to the bathroom. Oh my God. And he just like walks off. He was so excited he got Highborn Elves. Basically, just to give you an idea, the guy has 3 hordes. And Euron has Stratapult, Cannon, couple Lead Belcher units, and Pyromancy. So Euron has a very hard counter to that Highborn Elf player. Alright, and if you want to watch, by the way, Euron actually posted his recap on that game. I'll leave the link in the description down below. It's actually a very interesting game. It actually didn't go anywhere near what I thought would happen, but the score does reflect what happens. Alright, as for my opponent here, Pipo Phillip. He's actually one of my favorite 3 opponents I've had for the whole tournament. I'm going to go over this really quick. He has a Prophet of Pyromancy Wizard Master. He has a Vizier on a Bull. He has a Vizier BSB with a Blunderbuss. He has his Hobgoblin Witchcrafter. He has his Infernal Warriors with Blunderbusses. There's a big block, and then he has Citadel Guard with Flintlocks. 15 of them. He has a unit of Hobgoblins with paired weapons, bows, and the Banner of Relentless, which he didn't do what I thought he would do. The Infernal Bastion does go into the giant block of 22 Infernal Warriors, and he has 3 Torak anointed, 3 Torak anointed with, one has a champ, one doesn't. He has Infernal Artillery, 2 of them, and he has a Kadim Titan Walking Earthquake. Alright, for my magic, I got Scorching Salvo, Bring the Pain, Fireball, Pyroclastic Flow, and Alter Titan. For somebody who said I don't bring the Pain, boom, there you go. I got it. Okay. As for his magic, my opponent's magic, he has Deceptive Glamour, Flaming Swords, Pyroclastic Flow, Curse of Nizhachakapizaka. I don't even know what that word is. Cascading Fire, and Raven's Wing. Okay. I go ahead and I deploy first. I win the roll-off for that. He chose sides. He gave me this side, I think, for the Ruins and the Impassable. I don't really care. Since I've had so much practice on this this match, the hold the center battle line formation. That is actually what was rolled. Was they even said it in the video? It's a noob fest because it's literally the first two things. 1-1. It's battle line, hold the center. I go ahead and I drop everything and I put all three of my scoring units right in the center. I'm gonna go ahead and run up to that objective marker as fast as possible and actually just start to try to grab that objective and start earning the hold the center points. Okay, I go ahead and I put Ruckus in the middle because whatever he puts in the middle to try to counter that, Ruckus would love to smash, more or less. Ruckus smash. I go ahead and I put my trolls right to the right of the Black Orcs, basically, to start helping out there, and then Zod is literally on the flank trying to hide behind the hill. Go ahead and I put my Force Goblins there, basically just to keep the BSB in range of the trolls. I didn't really even think of the option of putting the BSB in the unit of goblins and just kind of keeping them behind, and then using the Force Goblin. No, never mind. That doesn't change the difference. But usually I keep Baxter and Bazooka near Koopa, which Koopa is actually on the far flank on the left. You can't see him in this picture, but I swear he's there. The K-Pack is on the right flank, protecting the flank, and the Spider Riders haven't deployed yet. There's Koopa. Koopa, you fat fuck. All right. As for my opponent, look how great this is. This is his general here with the big flag, and then his BSB is the one with the two flags, or vice versa. I don't know, but they all have beautiful, funny hats. All right. The Kadim Titan is this flaming bull. He has his giant bastion in his unit of blunderbusses. He has his hobgoblins. He has his two artillery in the back, and then he has his bull, his Torak anointed, and his flintlock axe is there, and his Mortorok anointed. Since the Torok are on the right side, I go ahead and I pop the Spider Riders on the right side. I'm just going to let them chaff and set up a charge with the K-Pack. Alright, it's going to go ahead and start off turn 1, Orcs and Goblins. Orcs and Goblins turn 1, and how far did I get into the video recording? 26 minutes. That was, I probably shaved off 3 on my re-recording. I know there's a lot to talk about here, guys. Sorry about that. Turn 1, Orcs and Goblins. I move up. Very simple. I move up with everybody. I'm going to try to grab that objective early on, and that's about it. Move the trolls up on the hill. There's pretty much it. He has to shoot me. That's what he's gonna do. That's what his list is made to do. He's gonna shoot me, and it's fine. But I'm gonna put on the pressure. I'm trying to keep my general out of range or hiding behind range from the mortars. I don't think it's even that great of a job, but he doesn't really choose general anyways. I go ahead and I move the Forest Goblins over this way to try to get the magic off, and you can see my wizard is lined up to shoot a straight shot into that Titan mortar. Alright, magic out of 5 on the flux. Go ahead and I do a scorching salvo. I really don't think I do any wounds. If I do, it's very minimal. I think I killed probably a hobgoblin or so. Fireball, I end up doing 1 wound onto his Titan mortar, and that's all that happens in magic. I did kill one of these flintlock axes, I think with the attribute or shooting. I think it might have been shooting with the unit of the BGKs. Over here, these guys are going to throw their throwing weapons. They're tomahawks, and I end up doing 1 wound onto the Torok, which was kind of hilarious to me. And that's it. It's going to start off turn 1. Infernal Dwarves. Infernal Dwarves, turn 1. He's going to go ahead and charge! He charges in here, and he... Basically, that's what I wanted to happen. And for the record, guys, as you can see, this is how he started moving forward. He ends up using his Relentless Banner and moving all the way up to chaff the Trolls and the Black Orcs. I'm going to stop this right here. For the record, guys, there is on Neuron's video an explanation of our pregame meeting that we have. We have a pregame meeting at every game just to kind of go over who has bad matches, who has good matches. Everybody on my team got a green match. Everybody except for Jesse and I, the Silvas. So that's the opposite end of the Silva luck, okay? But that's okay. That's okay. I'm very knowledgeable at the fact that as long as I don't come back with a 0, that my team's going to do good, all right? I don't know how good, okay, until the end of this game. But, so Jesse comes up to, or not even Jesse, I'm sorry, Jesse's opponent comes up to me and says, your brother just shook my hand for a loss. And I go, he did? He goes, yeah, he bargained with me for a 13-7. And I look at my brother and I'm like, good job, bro. Good job. He didn't come back with a 0. I'm fine with that, right? The guy tells me right afterwards, I think he made a mistake, right? And I was like, oh, okay. So they end up playing the game out anyways for glory, as they say. But that's basically the score they agreed upon. Right here, like I said, we're going to get back to this game. marches in front of my Black Orcs and Trolls. He doesn't want me to have charges with the Trolls or the Trolls to push aggressively, and he's going to stand back and shoot me. Not only that, but now he has a chance, if I don't clear out those Hobgoblins, to kind of push into the objective. Alright, Magic, he gets a 6 on the Flux, goes ahead and he does Curse of onto Koopa. Alright, Nezibikesh. Nezibikesh. I don't know how to say that. Nezibikesh. The B and the K shouldn't be that close together. I'm sorry. Who says that? Anyways, the Flintlock axe. Are you laughing at me back there? The Flintlock axes with the BSB are going to go ahead and shoot into Ruckus. They end up doing a wound. The Titan Mortar, I think, misfires and takes a wound. The other Titan Mortar shoots into the A-Rock, I'm sorry, Koopa, and does a wound. Over here, he ends up killing off the Spider Riders. And for those of you who do know my army and do know the way I play, I'm going to give you a 3-second warning to lower your volume. On a 3, 2, 1. Wog! I do a Wog, turn 2 Orcs and Goblins, and I charge Ruckus into the flank of the Hobgoblins, hoping he flees. He doesn't flee, he stands right there. That's fine. I charge the Black Orcs in, and there's a reason, there's a method to my madness here. Charge the Black Orcs in. Obviously, those are both easy charges. The K-Pack on the other flank, go back to this picture over here, but the K-Pack is going to go ahead and charge into these boys. They actually get in. I think I needed like a 9 on the charge, maybe 8. But they're going to get in. Koopa over here goes into the water. He ends up taking a bath, and I think it's because the guy used his attribute to make Koopa flammable, and if he did, I'm like, I'm just going to stay in the water. I'm not going to let this fucking Flaming Kadim just beat the shit out of Koopa with flaming attacks, re-rolling to wound. So I was like, come on, let's take a bath. And he was just like, ugh. He knew what I was up to. He knew why Koopa was splashing around that water. Alright, and it wasn't to clean his ass. Anyways, so, right here, I charge in. Like I said, now you can see Ruckus kind of goes on the tip of those guys, and I'm just trying to get where I barely get it, all the Hobgoblins on purpose, right? I kind of just shimmy the Trolls over. I move Zod behind the hill just to keep him safe from the Titan Mortars, and I go ahead and I think I'm a little bit timid on pushing the Savages. If I was to play this game over, I think I would play it totally different, by the way, but this is kind of like, again, I'm still full of rust, and I don't know what the hell that Bastion does. Look at that thing. I don't know what it does. Am I going to walk right into it and get my ass kicked? Now, hindsight's 2020. I probably should have just ranked my Savages up by 5 and kind of walk forward. But, like, I didn't know that. And in all fairness, I'm also lazy to move those Savages. The Savages' arms stick out so much, they just start kind of clashing into each other. Amanda hates putting them back together. But right now, I'm holding the objective. I have two units holding the objective. And as long as he doesn't push on the next turn, which I have a plan for that, I'm going to grab it turn 1. Alright, so, like I said, that's how the table looks. Let's go into Magic. Magic, I got 8 on the Flux. Go ahead and I do a Pyroclastic Flow, and I end up only killing one homeboy here. I'm trying to get into the Titan Mortar, but I think I'm not in the best position. I don't really remember. But that's all I really get off in Magic. I think I tried a Scorching Salvo, and I didn't do anything, and I think he just stopped the Fireball. I don't remember. Over here, Ruckus only kills 2 homeboys. Okay, I go with Hand Weapon Shield, and he goes, really? Hand Weapon Shield, not paired weapons? And I'm like, yep, you'll see why. So he goes in and he swings. I don't even think he kills a Black Orc. The Black Orcs go, and I think I want to say I do about 5 to 6 wounds with the Black Orcs. My Thunderstop ends up killing off about 5 more guys. There's one Hobgoblin left. And I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. And he was like, what? And I go, you're going to flee from the Black Orcs, and Ruckus is going to chase. And Ruckus was just like, boom, 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 smash little goblin. And he just ran this way right in the face of his BSB's unit. And he's like, holy shit. Right now, I think he calls his timeout. Well, right after that Chariot charge over in that corner. Chariot's over here. K-Pack! Trust me, they're actually touching all of the models. It's just that my freaking points and my front edge was stabbing his guy, so I just kind of moved it like this just to get that. But anyways, K-Pack goes in, rams the shit out of him, and I only roll a, what was that, 7, 8, 11 on impact hits. Where's all my 17s and 16s on impact hits? 11 wasn't enough. I only kill off 2 guys, or I only kill off 1 guy. They end up killing off one of my guys, and then my dogs and my goblins end up killing one more guy. I do win combat, but I'm only winning combat by like 1 or 2, and he ends up sticking, and that was horrible, horrible. It's gonna start off turn 2. Infernal Dwarves. Infernal Dwarves turn 2. Like I said, he calls his timeout, and he's like, He's like, what the fuck? This giant just ran right in my face. It actually put him in panic mode for a second, where he just saw this giant, and he was just like, shit, I'm not gonna do what I thought I was gonna do, and he needs to deal with this threat. All right. As you can see, all his shit's getting lined up to just shoot the shit out of Ruckus, more or less. But right now, I'm starting to collect the first objective token for the center objective. Over here, he starts to do the dance of dances with Koopa with the Kadim Titan. And then he ends up giving me his Witchcraft Dude. And I was actually surprised by this. I didn't realize he was just going to try to chaff me. I think he was more afraid of Koopa charging the flank of the Bastion, and I didn't know that, than Koopa just killing this Witchcraft guy. So I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of get it. I think the Witchcraft guy is rather cheap, actually. And if he's rather cheap, he's chaff and Witchcraft. And if you could use the Witchcraft, use it. If not, he's chaff. Alright, Magic, he gets a 3 on the Flux, goes ahead, he does Cascading Fire. And as you can see, Ruckus is already taking a bunch of wounds. He ended up getting that reroll Flammable up. And so the Cascading Fire just started roasting me. His shooting, he ends up just shooting into Ruckus and killing him. These Flintlocks go ahead and shoot into my Savages, end up killing him. 2 Feral Orcs. The Titan Mortar shoots into Koopa, does 2 wounds. The other Titan Mortar is cursed and fails to shoot again, and this time cannot shoot for 2 turns. Over here, he ends up just destroying my K-Pack, and this single guy is running around with 1 fucking wound for the rest of the goddamn game. This guy is so goddamn annoying. I swear to God, this guy is so goddamn annoying. Anyways, let's go start off turn 3. Orcs and Goblins. Orcs and Goblins turn 3. Koopa is going to eat his first meal of the ETC. This poor hobgoblin wizard with a really cool little banner. It's actually a really cool little banner. It's very simple, but I get it, and it's perfect. I think it's great. I think it's great. I want to see more shit like this. This is awesome. I actually am going to be honest with you. Coming to the ETC and seeing armies like this made my trip, okay? For Magic, I only get off Altered Sight here, and basically I'm just trying to shoot wounds into the Kadim Titan. I'm going to tell you the truth. They don't get a wound into the Kadim Titan. I tried. Over here, the BGKs end up shooting 2 wounds into his Titan Mortar, and he goes, why are you shooting the Titan Mortar that doesn't work? And I'm just like, I'm just trying to kill it, man. I don't care if it doesn't work right now. I'm trying to just get points, because I promised my team I would not come back with 0 points on an army that is designed to kill me. Alright, Koopa eats his dog there, and it's going to start off his turn. Infernal Dwarves turn 3. Infernal Dwarves turn 3. He's charging these long charges with his bull and his Torok Anointed. His Torok Anointed are... This is the one without a champ. The champ is the only guy alive in that other unit. The one that's kind of running around by himself. And he gets in with both. He does the zigzag. He gives me the bull on this side. Now, the bull is the bigger issue, because the bull, everything he does is flaming. And these trolls are going to struggle with that. His Kadim runs this way, and this is a little bit scary for me, because if he gets into the flank of the Savages, I'm going to lose the Savages. He just basically ran away from Koopa and said, fuck it, he's going to let the Flintlocks deal with Koopa. Alright, and basically that's how the table looks on this side. This guy, this champ, is barely on the hill, threatening the flank of my forest goblins. Okay. Magic, he gets 2 on the Flux, gets a Pyroclastic Flow off, and he kills a couple Black Orcs. These Flintlocks are going to shoot into my Black Orcs as well, kill a couple more. Over here, close combat. I want to point this out. His Torok Anointed, full power with impact hits, do 2 wounds onto the trolls. That means he either just whiffed because of distracting, or I just regened. But he only did 2 wounds. They're not doing much, and this comes into later into my timeout, okay? But the bull fucking kills, does 6 wounds. That fucking bull is disgusting. Ugh. All right. And he has rerolls to wound because he put the freaking attribute onto my trolls, which are flammable. That fucking sucks so bad. All right, it's gonna start off my turn. Orcs and Goblins turn 4. Orcs and Goblins turn 4. I'm gonna show you this picture right here, and I'm going to tell you right now, I call my timeout. Okay, I call my timeout because the dog in that unit with Baxter and Bazooka is a champion. That's Faust. That's my dog that died. That's my dog. That's my champ. Okay. I was contemplating charging in, and for the record, the Black Orcs are in the front too, so I can't charge them both in. But charging them in and just challenging with the dog. If I do that, he is going to kill that dog. He's going to do 4 wounds. Okay. But he's not hitting my trolls with the reroll wounds. I'll have a charge, a banner, and a BSB. So I only get the 3 combat res. I'm down by 1 from that combat. Okay? But you just saw the Torok anointed only did 2 wounds onto the trolls. They are having a hard time hitting. My trolls ended up doing 4 wounds back last time. I think I win that combat. I think if he only gets a wound or 2 off there and I end up doing 3 or 4 again, I'm going to kick their ass, right? But the problem is if the bull's going and killing my trolls, I'm losing, right? So I call my timeout and I tell Charlie I think I should charge him in, but I want to know how the rest of the team is going. And Charlie looks at it and goes, "The fuck are you talking about?" I said, "Charging in the goblins." He goes, "Why?" I go, "Because I won't lose that much combat res. I'll probably win." And he goes, "Yeah, but what if he sticks? If he sticks, you're gonna lose your whole unit of goblins." And I was like, fine. Giving me common sense. I don't play with common sense. You know this. Fine. But in 2019, I didn't listen to Lucas. It pissed Lucas off. So if I'm going to piss off Charlie, I can't piss off all my friends, okay? So I'm like, you know what? Fine. It's fine. I won't charge him in. I thought about it for quite a long time, and at this point, Peepo, my opponent, was just like, "Hey man, we're gonna run out of time," and I was like, "No, we'll get it. Anyways, so time in, I don't charge them. I just leave them there. All right. Magic, you get a 3 on the flux, and as you can see, this is basically what I did. I go ahead and I rank up my common goblins, and I'm looking at this right now. I'm being 100% honest with you. I'm looking at this right now, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, that was ballsy. My common goblins are way over there. That is way further than 15 inches from my general. I do have a reroll with the BSB, but that's only a leadership 6 terror check. Koopa ran this way. Koopa was trying to run into the ass of the Kadim Titan, I see. And the Pharaohs, I'm already grabbing the objective. I already gotten it for 2 rounds, and he is not threatening the objective at all. I kind of swing the savages this way to threaten that damn bull and the Torok anointed, and the same thing with the Black Orcs, and I go ahead and move my general there. If I had my general, man, again, it's just hindsight. I'm killing myself. I would move my general to threaten that damn bull and fight him, knowing that he's all flaming attacks. I think my general would just fuck him up, but I didn't have him in a position to charge, and for some reason I just had him pointing this way. I'm not sure why. Magic, go ahead and get an ultra sight off again. I think these guys do poke a wound into the Torok or the Kadim this time. Over here, I end up killing off another Torok anointed, and he ends up killing off my trolls. I do fail my steadfast this time. No, I don't. I pass my steadfast. Okay, and he moves like so. Turn 4, Infernal Dwarves. Infernal Dwarves turn 4, he charges the Kadim. I pass my terror check. Just saying. Phil Carl's not surprised. This happens all the time. These fucking goblins are like 90% with their 6 up armor or 6 up discipline test. All right, this fucking guy. I thought I was chaffing him with Zod, which I was, but he charges into the flank of my trolls. That's going to be an issue. All right, he moves the other guys behind the hill, and he decides to move those his other unit towards Koopa to start shooting Koopa with some blunderbusses. All right, Magic, you get an 8 on the flux. He ends up getting off flaming swords. I think I tried to stop it too, but he just outrolled me. And these guys do blast a hole right through Koopa, killing Koopa. The Titan Mortar ends up shooting into the savages, only killing off 2 savages. Over here, he ends up killing 6 goblins, but I fail to wound him and do anything. I do stick on my steadfast. Over here, for the record, a steadfast leadership 5. Okay, over here, he ends up winning combat. The bull fucks me up this round. And no longer steadfast. He is gonna overrun into me. I don't think I kill either one of those Torok anointed. So he does overrun into me, and basically he does everything towards me. The one guy gets into Zod, and Zod is stuck in this fight. It's gonna start off turn 5. Orcs and Goblins. Orcs and Goblins turn 5, and I'm pretty sure he overran with everything to get out of line of sight of the savages, which he did. So turn 5, Orcs and Goblins, my savages are charging into that unit right there. Now, I didn't expect this, but he's like, oh shit, flee. Now his BSB or his general already left and went into the other giant unit, Infernal Warrior. So this unit fleeing doesn't really do much or do anything for me. At this point, I got the objective. I don't think he could really contest the objective at this point. So I charge in. He flees. He doesn't run too far, but I go ahead and I charge the Black Orcs in just to push them through the war machines, cause panic checks, and they loot that unit's dead. All right, now I go for a redirect on the Black Orcs. I think they could see that guy who's fighting Zod. I fail the redirect. Okay. Magic, get a 6 on the flux. Go ahead. I don't know what I really did here. Now I'm moving my Forest Goblins over here. You can kind of see with the markers that green line of sight marker shows that the bull does not see my Forest Goblins here, or the bull of Shamut. Okay, the other guy's fighting Zod. I don't care. Zod's gonna kill that guy, right? And his big unit is not even facing the center of the table, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to blast the war machines off. That war machine only has 1 wound left. I'm gonna try to do what I can, right? Now, what I didn't expect, like I said, Zod ends up killing the guy here. I don't kill the freaking war machine this round. Doesn't cause a panic over here when Zod kills this guy. This is what I didn't expect. What I didn't expect was my goblins got roasted. Of course my goblins got roasted. Now, he can kill me and overrun. That's not a problem. What I was expecting was, I'll go back to this picture over here, is when he charges my goblins, my forest goblins, I'm going to flee, and I'll flee through his units, through Zod, to the other side of the table in a very safe spot where nobody's threatening. That's what I'm expecting. That is 100% what I'm expecting. What I didn't expect is when he kills my goblins here, and he overruns in a straight line, he needs a 12 to hit my forest goblins. And he rolls the fucking 12. I was telling you, I was just trying not to get 0. I was just trying not to get 0, but this is not really looking good at this moment. Turn 5, it's his turn. He starts moving his guys out of the line of sight of Zod. He basically is like, I'm just going to fuck up this unit right here. He does move this unit of the warriors onto my savages. Again, it's kind of hindsight. I should have just faced off on him turn 5 and 6, but that's what's going to happen. Magic, he gets a 5 on the flux, goes ahead and does cascading fire, starts killing these guys. He starts shooting into me, he starts killing more. This is what kind of scares me. I can't march out of his range. I did hold the objective. I do got the objective, but now I'm bleeding bodies, right? Over here, you can see the Kadim. I don't even have a picture of how many wounds he did, but he ends up destroying the unit with the Forest Goblins. He overruns towards Zod, and at this point, it's turn 6, Orcs and Goblins. Turn 6, Orcs and Goblins. I look at Charlie, and Charlie tells me, or actually I have Jesus and Amanda, which are our coaches, right? Jesus tells me, you're on, and he gives me a thumbs up. You're on 19-1. And then all of a sudden, by this turn, before the beginning of this turn, he comes up to me and he goes, we capped. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, we capped. I was like, oh. Well, if we capped, I'm just going to fuck off and fuck around. Zod charges into the Kadim Titan. If I could pull off any points, I'm just going to try to do it with Zod right now, guys. Alright, so Zod goes into the Kadim Titan. I'm a little bit not worried because I have a Basalt Infusion. I should be able to keep my ward saves up on this guy, and I'll just kind of try to do as many wounds as possibly can. I try to charge my Savages in to his other unit, and what ended up happening was I failed into the war machine. I tried to charge the savages into the war machine. I failed, and when I failed, he flank charges me on his turn. I have no magic. I have no shooting. These turns are going by really fast. Zod into the Kadim Titan. I go for the impact hits. I roll a 1. I failed to wound the big boy. I go ahead and I swing. I think I do 1 wound, and he ends up doing 1 wound back. He sticks there. Nothing really happens. All right. As you can see, that's how the table looks. He moves his guys back, way back there. He doesn't, magic, he gets flaming swords off here. He tries to kill off my savages, but I think he fails to wound my savages. My savages end up staying there to the end of the game. And then what ends up happening here is the Black Orcs are fine. The Titan Mortar is not going to shoot anybody. I think he tries to shoot the Black Orcs, but nothing really happens. I did do 3 wounds onto that Titan Mortar with the magic in the previous phase. The Kadim Titan ends up doing a singular wound Oh, no, no, no. I go back. The Titan Mortar does shoot into the Black Orcs, kills off 5 Black Orcs. I am still going to hold on to that unit. Over here, the Savages end up killing 2 guys, but I think he doesn't kill that many of mine, and we end up just sticking there. Over here, or I think I break, flee, but he doesn't chase me down, and he gets half points, but not full points on my Savages. And again, like I said, if I knowing what I know now, I should just turn the Savages around and just rip apart this unit. I think even if I ranked up by 5 and just faced off, it would have been fine. Over here, I fail my fear check. He does a wound. All right, it goes through my 3-up ward against Flaming. Okay, I go to swing back. I don't do a single goddamn wound. Not a single goddamn wound. And I lose combat. He chases me, and my general gets away. He gets half points on my general. It's a loss for me. It is a loss for me. But since I got the objective, it was only a 7-13. So overall, I'm not disappointed. I promised my team I wouldn't get 0. I got 7. I'm happy with that. I am happy with that. I honestly believe I could have done better. I honestly believe 100% I could have done better than what I did. But I'm going to give you a feedback from my opponent, and we'll get to that. That's how the table looks. Actually, it looks like my Savages stayed. Didn't see like they ran. We're going to get feedback from my opponent, and I'll come right back after that. All right, man. I just played this guy.
Hi.
Explain to YouTube who you are.
I'm Phil. I'm playing in Team Slovenia.
Slovenia. All right, Phil, I'm going to tell you the truth. I accidentally got you on the match. I'm the one who picks the matches, and I put that as I'm not going to fuck with that. And when we were arguing over it, I swear to God, Charlie told me not to throw... He told me not to throw Euron, right? But then he told me at the end, oh, no, we can't have me and you on the Infernal Dwarf. He'll kill both of us. So I was like, oh, okay. So he's like, throw you. And I'm like, all right, so I throw me. And then he goes, why'd you throw you? You should have threw... why'd you throw Euron? You should have threw you. I'm like... You fucking confused me, man. Anyways, what do you think of the match?
Okay, so I think I was actually favored from the match.
Yes.
I did a couple mistakes at the beginning that led the match in your favor. Luckily, at the end, I got the match back.
Oh, yeah, you recovered greatly. I didn't realize that big block that you had with the Bastion wasn't going to do that many wounds. If not, I would just reformed ranks and fought you, you know? And I probably would have just stayed.
No, in close combat we didn't do anything.
I didn't know that. I was like, oh man, this thing got a big ass tank there.
No, it just brings static resolution.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, you would have still had a charge, 3 ranks, 2 banners, and then like 3 wounds you did. So I think I would have been able to do 8. Yeah.
You should have tried.
Yeah. I was just trying to get that long charge, get objective, keep them safe. You know. I needed a 10. You know, it's a little risky, but. You know, I heard from my team that we already won, so I was like, okay, I'm just
I also heard it, so it was just a fun match.
All right, man. Well, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got
it's been a pleasure.
Anything you want to promote while you're on YouTube?
Oh, play 9th Age.
Play 9th Age, exactly, and paint your armies.
Exactly. Look at ours. Look at the pictures.
All right, bye. I know this is a long battle report. Like I said, it's the first one. First of all, my opponent was so cool. After the end of the ETC, he came up to me and he goes, you know, out of all 6 games, you were my favorite opponent. He gave me a shirt and I told him, dude, I don't even have a shirt, so, and I won't even fit in your European shirt. So we ended up giving it to Amanda. And I feel real bad. Truthfully, what ended up happening was Neil had the shirts and Neil's luggage got lost in the airport. So we didn't have any uniforms. Some of us, 4 of us, made these vests. The other 4 did not want to make the vest because they thought it's way too hot. I'll just do a t-shirt, right? I ended up giving Neil one of my old t-shirts to use for the remainder of the event, and he does. But overall, Slovenia, we're going to go one by one, all right? Let me see if I can open it up here. Sorry about that. I don't have this part ready. But I wanted to get you guys this information. Sorry. I am opening it up. I don't know which page I have it on. Oh, I know where it is. It's over here. Alright. So, Slovenia, match 1. We not only capped Slovenia, but Jesse got 7 points from the shake. Neil got 19 points against Warriors, which Neil started to prove to me how deadly he is against Warriors. He kept telling me, oh, give me Warriors, give me Warriors. Jorge got 17, and Jesse was telling me he was like, dude, I was the table next to Jorge, and I was just watching the guy peel knights off like 3 or 4 at a time, and I was like, that's exactly what Jorge said his list does. Orko got 17 against the Orc and Goblin. He came up to me after the game and he was like, I probably could have got more, but at that point we didn't really need it. Charlie got 20 points off of his guy. Gonzalo got 19, giving Breaking Bread 1 point. I got 7 points, and Jaffe got 20. Euron, he put this one as a big number. His only big number in the whole damn tournament roughly was about 17, and he ended up getting 20. So that puts us at 126 points. That actually put us in first place day one. First place day one, right off the bat. Holy shit, it put a target on our back, but at the same token, we got the massive amount of points. We were supposed to, I knew it was a mixed match. I knew that we had a high scoring team in my team, or a good scoring team, I should say, against a low scoring team. I didn't know that right away. So I had a feeling that if I looked ahead at looked at that video that we watched in the beginning of this one, and see if there was other mixed matches, people who were high scorers versus teams that were low scorers. When I did that, I realized there were certain teams like Australia, Ireland, and Sweden that would be, and Denmark, but that would be up there. Okay, that in the same mixed match ratio. When I did that, when I was playing ESC, the guy from Sweden came up to me and he goes, I've done the math, and it's 95% chance we're playing you in round 2. And I go, what team are you? He's like, Sweden. And I was like, looking at my list, and I was like, yeah, I had you down too. And he goes, you did the math too. And I was like, yeah, I did the math. So Sweden is right behind us at 122 points, and we are going to play them in round 2. We found out during lunch. We went to an all-you-could-eat sushi place, and during the sushi place, we're sitting across the tables from Sweden. And in Sweden, we get the message on New Recruit, and it's like, oh shit, we are playing Sweden. And they started looking at us, and we started looking at them like, oh fuck, we gotta go and figure this out. And we can't even talk about Matrix because they might hear us right here. Let's finish the sushi. Alright guys, anyways guys, that's all I got for you. I know it's another long video, but you know what, it's the ET goddamn motherfucking C, guys. Until next time, peace.